Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, JG here. Another episode of Young Hustlers on the Cardone Zone every Thursday at noon East Coast Standard Time. The purpose of the show is to bring you tips and strategies on how to get more money, get more business, and ultimately live the type of life you want. And I think a lot of people are in a position right now where they're having some serious coming to Jesus moment on a lot of things that in their life and in their business, and challenging times make great people. Grant said this in a meeting the other day. He said, "Hard times make for great people," and this certainly is not the easiest of times. But the good news is, if you take opportunities like this to learn and to grow, you can prove a lot to yourself. And ultimately, you can give yourself a lot of confidence for when times are good. When you can prepare for a situation like we're going through right now with everything in the coronavirus, and you had to learn new things and do new things. I had to come in here and figure out how to get all this camera stuff turned on by myself because I'm the only one in the building right now. You should have seen it. It was funny. FaceTime, Johnny on the phone, trying to figure out how all this stuff works. It's insane. But the point is, we're here. And what I really want to talk to you today about is how to survive through a recession. Really, survival is one thing, but thriving is another. And expanding into a contraction is something that can position you in a really strong place. 2008 was the last financial crisis that we went through. Really, 2009 and into early 2010, that's when really all the after effects of what happened were starting to be felt, right? And that's actually when I started working for Grant. So we worked a lot in an industry that, literally half of the industry got wiped out. Banks were still collapsing and, going through these massive shifts. And that strain on the financial system, literally hit everybody. Homes were getting repossessed, banks were going under. It was nasty. But what we were able to do in our business was put some policies in place and that helped us get through, and that helped us find the business that there was. Now, the beautiful thing about the position that we're in now as a business is back then we had 5 employees, and back then we sold to one industry. Today we have 126 employees. We work with probably almost 100 different industries. And we get to see every single day all of the companies and the industries and the businesses and the business owners that are still doing business. And so I know that everything that's happening right now can make you think that the world's coming to an end, but a good friend of mine's in cybersecurity. He said his business is off the rails. Another friend of mine owns a recruiting company. His business is off the rails in a good way. So there are pockets that are still doing well, and you have to try to figure out where you fit in. And so I want to give you 3 things that are going to be really key for you to not only survive through this, thrive into it, and then come out of it bigger, better, stronger, and allow you to go capture something even greater. Because when you can perform well, when things are tough, when things are easy, you grab market share. It's a land grab. And right now, the people who are most equipped to handle this are the people who are going to profit most from it coming out of it. And so, one of the things that I was thinking back over the last few days, being at home, is that the whole process of how people are consuming information is totally different now than it was when we went through this last time. Last time, 2010, I think we had just gotten a Facebook fan page. Social media was not what it is today. And so for good and bad, the bad of it is obviously, people can throw a ton of negativity. People can talk about the world coming to an end, and you hear a lot more of this stuff. The good news is you have access, like you have access to people like Grant now who are telling you, hey, I've been through this 3 or 4 times. I know exactly how to get out of it. This is what you need to do. And there's a lot of people that are really successful business folks that are out there, and they're talking about the things that you need to do to get yourself through this. So there is some good to this. The first thing that you have to know within a recession, the thing you need to know to survive, is that contraction disciplines the undisciplined. And so for a lot of people out there without discipline built in, they're kind of reaping you reap what you sow. They're in a position where when things were gravy and things were easy, they got lax, they got lazy, they got complacent. And it put them in a position now where they got to turn the hustle gear on, and it's a new thing that they're trying to learn right now. Now, if that is you, that's not to say you can't fix it, but discipline now is more important than ever. And working at home or doing the remote thing, particularly if you have been furloughed or you're in a business where, like, in Pennsylvania, car dealerships are shut down. Like you can't go into the dealership. So what do you do as an employee? Do you stay at home, hang out, watch movies, eat ice cream? Like, what do you do? And I would suggest that if you're not able to perform your job right now, number one, you see if there is anything that you can do to continue to make money right now. And this is like full creativity. Like, this is where you have to take the 8 or the 9 hours a day that you have now that you're home, and you have to try to turn them into something productive. Because you can choose to sit at home on the sidelines and kind of wait this thing out and just be a victim and just get pounded into submission. Or you can try to think, okay, how can I make the most of this situation? How can I stay productive? And if you're in an industry where you can't work, like, how can you stay productive personally? Exercise, personal development, reading books, going through programs, taking courses. Like, you can be productive even if you can't go into work, but you have to make the decision that that's what you're going to do. So like, now more important than ever, discipline in your day. What time are you waking up? Are you still exercising even though you can't go to the gym? Like, I still wake up in the morning the same time I always wake up. I still work out in the mornings the same time that I always worked out. We still start our days in the office the same way, just via Zoom. We're doing our big morning meeting. We do our marketing meeting after. The sales team is still doing their meetings and their role plays before we do our morning meeting. So we have these elements of discipline that are built in to where by 10:30, like, we've gotten a lot accomplished. We've planned the day. We know what we need to get done. We're moving in the direction of the things that we need to cross off the list to say, hey, we did something today. We got into the marketplace, we did some deals, and we were productive. So, like, number one thing you have to look at is discipline. What does that look like for you? How much has your schedule changed over the last week from where it was 30 days ago? You need to come up with, like, hey, what was I doing back then? Momentum, one of the best analogies that I can think of is like a freight train. We were cruising in a freight train. When those things get rolling, they're hard to stop, right? The problem is when something severe happens like this and it comes to a stop, it can be really difficult to get them moving again. It takes a long time for the train to kind of build up the steam again. So when we come out of this, which we will, you need to decide if you're going to be just starting at the station and just grinding the gears out and moving into motion again, or if you're going to be somebody who's already been moving and now you can really hammer down. Because right now there is an opportunity for you to put disciplines in place, even if the whole economy is shut off. There's an opportunity for you to put the disciplines in place, put the schedule in place, put the actions in place, fortify your skill set, and get to a point where when things open, you got to imagine it's like the light turned green at a stoplight. You're at a stoplight, you're racing somebody next to you, and the light turns green, and you want to hammer down, and you want to go as fast as possible. Right now, you can build in the disciplines that will allow you to do that. Okay, but you can't use this as an excuse or a reason to get loose. You have to stay tight on what you're doing so that you can position yourself to come out of it. The second thing to surviving through a recession is this is a new game now. The game that you're playing in your career with your finances, like, the game is new. As of 2 weeks ago or whatever, it's a new game. New game, new rules, new players, new challenges, new obstacles. You're dealing with objections and issues with customers that you weren't 30 days ago? How are you learning the new game? How are you preparing? How are you training? How are you drilling? Like what are you doing to equip yourself to play this new game? The beautiful thing is it's a new game for everybody, with the exception of those pocket industries that are doing well right now. Like everybody's trying to figure out how to play this new game. And, all I can tell you is that when this thing opens up, when they say go back to work, the people will be rewarded who had the discipline to continue living their life throughout the day as close to normal as they could, and who understand the new rules of the game. So what are those for you? What are the new rules? What are the phone requirements? What are who are the clients that you're going after? What are the terms of your deals that you're offering? Have you repackaged or repositioned any of your products based on where we're at? Like somebody hit me up yesterday. They were like, hey, what should I do different? I'm like, you have the ability right now to create a new product that is targeted specifically for people going through this right now. And it really isn't a new product for him. It's a product that he already has. But the way that you frame the utilization of the information inside that program could be like literally a full-on bullseye for them right now. So Johnny's telling me to write this stuff on the board right now. So number one, how to survive through a contraction is recession. Oh, you can't see that? Sorry, Johnny. How about this one? Good? Okay. Number one, recessions will discipline the undisciplined. Get your discipline in. Whatever that means for you. Does that mean schedule? Does that mean activity? Does that mean social media? How much time you're spending on social media, the type of stuff that you're looking at? Does that mean where do you office? Do you have an office, or are you just sitting on the couch? Do you have a designated workspace that you're going into so that you can be productive and know, hey, when I go in here, I'm working? Numero dos. This is a new game that requires new rules. Some of your businesses, some of your income in the past, some of you watching, your income has been predicated off of leads coming in. Like we talked with a company, multi-billion-dollar company a few days ago. They want us to build something particularly for this reason, because their game was based off of people coming to them. And they go, rules are changed, games changed, stores are closed. Now we need to go out to the customer. We can't wait for them to hit the website. We need to go out to the customer, and we need to reach out to them on the phone, and we need to see how we can facilitate a transaction so our business doesn't completely shut off for the next 30 or 60 days. So what are your new rules of engagement? If you were a field salesperson, you have a new game to play. If you were in the field Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you were traveling, you were on planes, your game has changed now. What are you doing to stay productive? Because it will be harder now to get the same thing that you were getting before. It's probably going to take 2 times the work to get less than you were getting before. 2 times the work to get less than you were getting before. Now, some people are going to go, man, it's really hard. I'm not getting what I used to. I'm just going to pull back a little bit. But I'm just telling you, I've been through this before. You've got to lean into this right now, because what happens is when you lean into this and you have this new mode of operation, that locomotive is going full speed when this thing opens back up. And I promise you, it will be a land grab for you in the marketplace. This is the type of thing that could position you in a new place within your company. We got 28 salespeople. We have a lot of ways to track what they're doing. We're tracking phone calls, we're tracking deals, managers are getting involved in deals and all kinds of stuff because the rules have changed, right? So 2 weeks ago, we defined a new set of rules that we would play by, okay? So, but within that group of salespeople, there's going to be salespeople who are not doing as much as others. And then there's going to be salespeople that are doing way more than others. And when we come back to the office, if it's May 1st is the date, if they say, hey, shut down the rest of April, May 1st you come back, you guys are good to go. May 1st when we come back, they will be better prepared to get business. And for the 3 or 4 or 5 months after that, or however long they can maintain that momentum, they will outproduce. We will have some veterans, some people that have been here for a year and a half or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. We will have some veterans that will be blown past a new salesperson. Like a new sales guy will blow past them because they're like pounding for their life right now. They don't have the book of business yet. They don't have the residual income yet. They don't have all those things in place that a guy that's been here for 5 years does. So what do? They have to freaking attack right now. They're going all in right now. They're waking up earlier. They're staying later. They're making more calls than they've ever made in their life. And they're going to be razor sharp when they come back. So where does that put you? Where does that put you in your company? Where does that put you in your industry? Because the people who thrive in recessions are the people who no longer operate off best practices. They operate with only practices. So you got to figure out, like, what can you do? This could be as a company. This could be on your team. This could be you personally. Like, what are you going to do that only you would be willing to do? You know, when we were going through this, Grant and I were having a meeting 10 years ago, 2010, 2011. Goes, let's list out our top 3 competitors, and I want to go through and I want to come up with a list of everything we can do that they will refuse to do. And we came up with a list of 12 things, 15 things that we would do that they would just be like, we're not even touching that. We're not even going to go there. And it was because we just decided that we were no longer going to compete. Best practices are about competition. This is something everybody does. That's competition. Right now, you have to figure out what you can do to dominate. And domination requires things that only you are willing to do. You know, when you think about people like Michael Jordan, who completely dominated the space that they played in, like, dude, this guy was a monster. Tim Grover is a good friend of ours, and he trained Michael for, I don't know, 8 years or 10 years or something like that. And the stories that Tim has told, both publicly and privately, about the things that guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade, the things that these guys do behind the scenes to be the only player that would do something like that, that is what makes them great. And that is the thing that will get you on the other side of this. So you have to figure out, like, what are the things that only you are willing to do? List out your competitors. List out what you've been doing. List out the way that you guys have been operating your business or your sales team or your day or whatever. And now you need to start thinking with, what will I be the only person that's capable of doing that thing? What can I do that will put me in a position where I'll be in a league of my own? This is how you have to start thinking. You have to start thinking about literally stomping on throats right now. I mean, like, in its most, like, savage form. Like, you have to stomp throats right now. And this is the time to do it. Because while everybody's caught up in noise and bullshit and everything that's going on, getting sucked in because they ain't got nothing better to do than scroll through Instagram, there are people that are positioning themselves to literally grab market share from underneath you personally when this thing opens back up. And so you have to make a decision. Are you going to be one of the people who, average producer before, middle of the pack road, economy crack comes, now you're trying to figure out what to do. You decide, I'm just going to kind of chill. I'll do a little bit of work so that, I can keep my boss happy. But I'm just going to try to really use this as, time off or time with, watching movies on Netflix. I don't know, like whatever you're thinking. Or are you going to say, dude, this is my time? A lot of people ask me, a lot of people reach out over the years and go, hey, what can I do to be more successful? It's the worst question you can ask because there's so many things that go into that. You want to know what you can do to be successful now is you need to beat the sun up, exercise in the morning, commit time to personal development every day, literally torch the marketplace with activity, do things that you'd never done before in terms of how you're serving your customers or how you're pursuing business, double or triple your activity, your outbound efforts. You should not be working normal work days right now. You should be doing 5 o'clock wake up, work till 9. I mean, you do that right now, and you are literally you're exponentially leaping, you're leapfrogging everybody else. But it's a decision you have to make, and not everybody will make that decision. So, that's what's up to you. But now you got to understand that if there was you ever watch WWF? I think it's WWE now is how you're supposed to say it. But they used to do this deal back in the day called Royal Rumble. I used to love WWF wrestling. And it was they would bring a new wrestler out every 60 seconds or 90 seconds. And the idea was that they're going to get all these wrestlers. You got to throw a guy out of the ring. That's how he's out of the match. But they'd get to the point where there was 30 people in the ring, right? There were people everywhere and elbows and then people getting thrown over, and then he'd grab on and he'd swing himself back up over, and save, but it was just complete and total mayhem until the very end when there was just 2 guys. And then the match totally changed because now you're focused on one opponent rather than elbows and all kinds of stuff that was going to come at you and just randomly you were going to get thrown over. So right now you're in a position where you're at the end of that match and there's only you and a handful of other people. So you have a much better perspective on what's going on. And now you can actually start making moves that will advance you towards the finish line. But you have to make the decision to do that. Johnny just created a video of Grant talking in 2010 about what will happen next time. Predicted that it would be worse than it was last time, and it is. He literally was going year by year, going through, having Grant tell people, hey, it's good, it's great right now, things are amazing, and then all of a sudden it shifts into things are going to get bad again, we're going to have another recession, people are going to be punished. You need to get this stuff in place now. You need to get cash flow producing assets so that if your revenue stream shuts off, you still have some money coming in. This whole thing has been played out, and he's going to put this video live here today. But it was a great depiction of the whole flow of what's happening right now, and you just have to, it's no longer about a good attitude, which is the last thing that I want to talk about today. It's no longer about just being positive and having a good attitude. You got to have skill. You got to have skill sets and tactics. But you're not going to use the skills unless you have the right attitude. Too many people right now are they're participating in what we call the cheerleader response to all of this. They're just trying to be ultra positive. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be fine. We're pushing through this. Oh, we're still they're trying to just be a cheerleader about the whole thing. A good attitude alone will not get you through this, but a good attitude is vital for you to get through this. And so how do you control your attitude? Number one, it's the people that you have around you. Dude, people continue to bring negativity to you, just freaking shut the line off. Be like, yo, stop, go away. I'm not interested in talking to you anymore. Dude, this is literally, they reported this morning, 6 million jobless claims. It's an astronomical number. The St. Louis Fed released a report and said there could be 40 million people unemployed. This will be the worst economic event of our lifetime. And what we're waiting on is to see if it's the worst in history yet, which it may be. So with all that going on, dude, you guys need to be able to shut the faucet off to negativity because you don't have any bandwidth for it right now. Like there is no bandwidth for you. Like I got a lot of shit going on. I got family, I got business, we got employees, we got teams, we got customers, we got all this stuff going on. Like there is zero bandwidth for negativity. Just keep it away. You know, when you're going on social media, stay off the news feed. Social media is important as a part of your business, but you don't need to get caught up in going through the news feed and finding out who's posting what or talking about what or who's doing this or who's doing that, because it literally will not help you. Like you need to get in control of this thing right here. Because until you have a good attitude, there's no way you're going to be able to deliver only practices and do twice the work for fewer results. There's no way. So now isn't about, hey, is it this or that? Now is time for everything. Now is time for everything to be right. Now is time where your training, your discipline, your attitude, your mindset, your tactics, your skills, your network, like now all of those things matter more than ever. And you need to start trimming the fat and pruning away the things that do not allow you to be great when you need to be great. Can you imagine in the fourth quarter of the NBA Finals in Game 7 and the Bulls are down by 10 and somebody's coming up talking some bullshit into Michael Jordan's ears? Can you imagine that? What would his response be? Number one, he would either completely ignore them because he's just locked in to game time right now. Or number two, he would get them out of the environment as fast as possible, probably forcefully. So you guys got to protect yourself right now because there's a lot of freaking noise coming in from all over the place. Not to say that, you know, people aren't dying and the economy isn't bad. That all those things are true right now. But that don't mean you don't need to remind yourself of all that. Like you need to focus right now on this. What time am I waking up? I need to get my body moving in the morning. I need to exercise. I need to do some type of personal development, read a book, take a course, watch a video, like be productive. I know at 10:30 when we're through with all of our meetings, I go, man, I woke up at 5:45 this morning. I got to exercise. I got to spend a little time with Jake. I've done morning meetings. I've gotten an update on kind of like where we're all at for the company for the previous day, given thought to where we're going to go, what targets we need to hit. Like, for example, we've been promoting right now. We're doing a live training tomorrow, 5 p.m. East Coast Standard Time. Grant is going to go live, and he's basically going to talk about how to start over from zero, how to expand, how to basically manage everything that's happening right now. Like, this is just like tip of the iceberg, right? And, you know, I've been around Grant, but Grant's been through this a few times. Grant's got more money than me by a long shot. So, like, he's the guy that has figured out how to navigate through these things and come out better. All I know is I personally got to witness what happened last time we did this. And because of the things that he did, and because of the actions that he took, and because of what he put in place, we grew in like, I think our company was doing maybe $2 million, $2.5 million a year at that point. And then we became this with 4 employees, and now we became this massive organization because of what happened then. Because people fell asleep. So don't fall asleep right now. Be wide awake. And be wide awake and know that like you are making deposits into an account that 30 days or 60 days, whenever they say everybody can go back to work, dude, you're going to be able to reap the rewards of what you did. So I can't take callers today, but I'm sure you guys have questions. If you do, go ahead and post them in the comments. And would love to, let's see, we got Modu Camera. Thanks for being here. Lloyd Boodle. Yeah, thanks for being here. Joel Tapia. Robert Renteria. Let's see. Solana, what's going on, Solana? Rick, Justin, George, Martina, Steve Rodriguez. Thanks for being here, guys. Let me see here. Let's see if we got more comments. Are they at the top or the bottom? Okay, here we go. They're at the top. Okay. Yeah, if you guys got questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to roll off here. We got face masks. It's funny. So look, the beautiful thing about this, as uncontrollable as everything that's going on around you may seem, you are fully in control with how you respond. How Donald Trump, how the government, how the Fed, how hospitals, how your governor or your mayor or your company, how they respond is out of your control. How you respond is entirely up to you. So we've got a live training that we're doing tomorrow night at 5 p.m. It's probably going to be an hour, maybe two. Grant gets, when he gets on a roll, he who knows. But you'll get tomorrow at 5 p.m. what I've got to see take place over the last 10 years that positioned us to be a leader in our space, to have a massive organization with an amazing team of people who are all pushing in the same direction. And I fully believe that when we come out of this, we're going to be in a position to grab more land than we ever have before because we've been building in these disciplines. Tomorrow, 5 p.m., go to grantcardone.com/training to enroll in this live training on how to get started over in a new economy, how to expand through the recession, strategies, tactics, and tips that you can implement. Literally, tomorrow's Friday, 5 p.m. So Monday morning, man, you probably get started on this on Saturday, putting these things to work and seeing deals happen. How do you bring money forward from the future? How do you take somebody that says, call us in 6 months and get money from them today? How do you take products that you've overlooked and repackage them and take them to a market with the context for today so somebody can actually transact? People still have money. There's still demand for products. Things are still happening. So you got to know, outside of your little bubble or whatever you've already sold yourself on, there's massive opportunities and massive things happening. And it's just up to you to make the decision to go out and make the most of it. So I am imploring you to do that. Make that decision. It's going to be hard. It's going to require more work. But I can tell you from personal experience that I had to go through this. I was coming in at 6 a.m. in the morning because we were on the West Coast so that I could get East Coast dealers when they woke up or when they were in the office at 9 a.m. Okay, I stayed in the office till 7 o'clock at night. I was working on Saturdays. Every week for a year and a half, I did this. I did it because I had to play by a new set of rules because there was a new game that had to be played and the industry that we were in was just getting freaking annihilated. Okay? So you can be the person. Even if people aren't transacting right now, if you're calling people who are closed that are in your industry and you're just saying, I'm sending you well wishes. I know it's a difficult time. Here's some things that other folks in the space are doing to cope with it. I just wanted to provide some value to you. And I hope that someday down the road, you and I can connect. Click. Dude, provide value. You're making deposits now that you'll be able to cash in later when this thing's over with. So don't participate in this. You don't have to. You can create your own set of rules. You can be productive. Production makes people happy. Stay busy. Stay disciplined. Keep your schedule that you were at when you were at work. Don't get all freaking lazy and all out of shape with everything that's going on right now. And when you come out of this, you'll be in a much better place. And whatever we can do to help you get through this, that is what our mission is in this company. Our mission is to help people who need to create income do so. We work with some of the largest organizations in the world. We have 2,000 companies around the U.S. who rely on us to train their salespeople. Some of the largest organizations in the world, publicly traded companies, multi-billion-dollar private companies, companies that you buy stuff from on a regular basis, are the people that are calling us right now going, help, how do we get through this? So we have the strategies, we have the information, we want to provide them to you, and tomorrow you can get a glimpse at what we're doing for some of these massive companies. Go to grantcardone.com/training, sign up for this live training, grantcardone.com/live training, and get to spend some time with Grant Cardone tomorrow talking about what you can do now to push through this, get the money that's out there, and ultimately come out on the back end of it a better, stronger, more successful person. So I appreciate you all. Continue to push, continue to hustle, and continue to go out and be the only person in your space doing the things required to get you through this. Remember, the only people who will ever condemn the hustle are the ones who've already given up on the hustle themselves. We'll see you next week.